listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio, hosted by Steve Jenny and his satanic assistant, Alex Houdini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
And welcome. Not live on the New Visions Radio network this evening, but we will be broadcasting this show throughout the week on the network once we get them the particulars. But this evening we have a special guest. First time on the show, Mr. Steve Wills. How are you, sir?
Very well, guys. Thanks for having me along.
Oh,
Pleasure to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. It's great because we've been wanting to talk more about UFO stuff on the show. I mean, we have had plenty of people on, but we haven't really, I don't think we've really dived deeply into the subject like we really want to. I mean, it's like when we had who was it now? It was Stanton Freeman. We had Stanton Freeman on.
Oh, wow.
And we're like, okay, I hope we're not asking the wrong questions here. But you know what? He was cool. But
it was a good interview, though. I mean,
it was a great
really
interview,
well.
really great. And you get nervous, right? Not really, but but anyway, Steve, you've you've been researching UFO related stuff for many years. How did it all begin? What got you into the realm of the unidentified flying objects?
Well, during the sort of mid 1980s, my dad, unbeknownst to me, but he'd actually started collecting a magazine series over here, which was called Orbis Unexplained. I don't know if you guys have ever got that in Canada. I think certainly it was available in the States under a different guise or different name.
Yeah.
But what it was like really just a shooting match, really, of all sort of fortean events from, it covered everything from spontaneous human combustion to, psychic research to paranormal UFOs. But I can remember being off sick from school one week. I had the measles or the mumps or whatever it was going around at the time. And where I was laid up in bed, I just sort of devoured these magazines and read them from cover to cover, really. And that was kind of the start of me being having an interest. And from all of the subjects, because I like to think I'm a sort of multifaceted researcher, so I'm I'm interested in all kinds of phenomena, including the paranormal and cryptids and whatever. But for me, the UFO subject jumped out just on the basis that it was multifaceted, whether it was crop circles or the abduction phenomena, men in black, dramatic contactee sightings and stuff of this nature. And because I'm actually based in Wiltshire and I live in a town called Warminster, and Warminster had this kind of aura about it as being a hotspot that's kind of sprung from the mid 1960s. So that's kind of how I got interested. And then sort of later on, I got more actively involved. But yeah, I've been researching, reading the literature and that, from sort of mid 80s, really.
The mid 80s. Wow. So you're well seasoned when it comes to the subject.
I am in my 50s now, so yeah.
Well, join the club, buddy. You and I are both there, so I mean you're in good company.
Yeah.
The youngins beside me are he's a young pup. Well, wait, no, not that much younger. Oh, your mic's off.
I'll be 50 next month.
Ooh.
So yeah,
Well,
I'll never be quite as old as you, Steve, because you'll always be that's that many years ahead of me.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, so yeah, well that's cool. Your interest and everything are in anything high strangeness, but UFO activity, uh, and you mentioned where you're from is known as a hotspot,
yeah.
Warminster, right?
That's it. Yeah. So here in the UK, it was kind of the first sort of window area. It became known as a place where you could probably go along and see some of these things
Hmm.
because of the vast number of sightings that were occurred. So do you want me to give you a general overview of
Yeah, yeah. I was just going
right?
to ask you, did you want to go a little bit into why it's known as a
Yeah.
hotspot? What kind of activity?
Yeah, so since the mid 1960s and around the Christmas period of 1964, what occurred was people weren't seeing UFOs straight away, but what they were experiencing were these strange sort of sonic deluges, which happened for some number of months. And there was a raft of reports in the local newspaper, the Warminster Journal, about people experience these sounds as though people described it as though branches were being dragged across the rooftops, and they could hear this sort of strange sort of humming and reverberation, so much so that people wrote letters into the newspaper about it. And I think at its height, some woman who went to a Christmas church service actually sort of succumbed to this sort of sound, and it sort of kind of made her sort of fall onto her knees, and she had to be helped up and all the rest of it. But that was the start of it, and for many months people were experiencing. There was another incident at a Nook camp, which is a small army camp on one of the villages just outside the town,
Hmm.
and again they they found as felt that something was being ripped off the roof from, or it sounded like the whole chimney stack had collapsed down on, and they all rushed outside expecting to see a lot of sort of clutter and debris, and there was nothing. So there was almost like this trickster kind of quality to it,
Hmm. Yeah.
which you sometimes experience in sort of poltergeistry and stuff of this nature. So that's how it started, and like I said, as I say, this carried on for a number of months, and it was I think there was some housewife then heard the noise and happened to look out her window, and she, in conjunction, she saw some sort of described as a luminosity, a bright kind
Mm.
of ball of light or something in conjunction. That's how it started, and then within a few months there was countless reports of these things. So when we talk about the war, we're not talking about an incident. We're talking about
Several, yeah.
lots of different ones. There was a number of kind of vehicle interference reports. There was a place called Colloway Clump, which is a Anglo-Saxon burial
Mm.
mound.
Okay.
A lot of cars driving along there, sort of just conked out,
Oh
run out,
wow.
yeah. And someone actually had a ball of light swoop down some lorry driver as he was, I think he was delivering somewhere in the town. Had a ball of light swoop down in front of his sort of windscreen and that, and yeah, there's a number of these kind of electrical faults, with cars and vehicles reported as well. Yeah.
So like a lot of the traditional sort of aspects that kind of go with these sightings. Now, are there still sightings there? Are there still experiences going on there?
Well, people kind of say that the height of it was from the mid 60s right to the tail end of the 1970s. So yeah, there's quite a long-standing flap, as you might call it.
Hmm.
And then it's more sporadic as the years go on, to the point now when, to be fair, you just as likely to see a UFO, I don't know, Wolverhampton or Worcester as you are in Warminster. But you know, it's still kind of, because we got like a lot of hillsides surrounding the town. It's a good place for people, and it's kind of fairly rural. Obviously, it's a small market town.
Hmm.
It's starting to be a little bit more built up over the years, but it's quite rural, and it's got some great sort of dark skies, i.e., not so much light pollution around here. So,
Mm.
so it's still got an attachment with the sort of sky watching brigade,
Yeah.
But in terms of sightings now, we do occasionally get sighting reports come in, but of course not like they did in those sort of heady days of the
Mm.
1960s and 70s and early 80s.
So now, in regards to the sort of research and investigations that you've sort of carried out, like to what extent have you gone with your, like, looking into this, and any personal experiences yourself, like what has happened during the time that you've been looking into this case?
Right. Okay. So one of my kind of working colleagues is a guy called John Hanson.
Hmm.
John Hanson is a ex West Midlands police officer who,
Okay.
in 1995, a family member of his actually reported a UFO whilst on duty, and that was the catalyst for him to get interested. Now,
Yeah.
his kind of he didn't become an investigator or anything of that nature, but became a kind of documentarian of all these things, and he's brought them out on a encyclopedia. He produces a publication called The Haunted Skies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so and it's a massive, it's a massive load files and everything. But he's brought out I think 15 books,
Wow.
scanning sort of multi-decades, of UFO reports. So I've had access to a lot of his kind of stuff for my area.
Okay.
And over the years, I've looked into a lot of the historical reports, seen, spoken to many of the living witnesses. Of course, if we're talking about the height of the 1960s, a lot of those people who passing the time aren't with us anymore, are they?
Hmm.
But I've spoken to secondary family members, but I have spoken to a number of people who've had all sorts of sighting reports and personal experiences of contactee or abduction experiences within the area too.
Hmm.
As for myself, I've seen what you would call, again, light phenomena type. I wouldn't call them they're certainly not flying saucers, but they are kind of very fleeting lights kind of coming on, blinking out, this sort of thing. I've seen that from multiple different sort of areas around Wiltshire. I've actually filmed some stuff as well. I've filmed stuff and taken photographs
Oh,
over the
wow.
years. But this type of phenomenon is very fleeting. It's
Mm.
not. It's kind of sometimes blink and you miss it, and sometimes it's a case of, you've been up on the hill all night. You've got tired. You put your cameras away. You're just about to pull out, go home, and it come on. It's almost like sometimes the phenomena's playing with you.
Yeah, yeah. So, why do you think? Okay, so why Warminster, and why do you think it's not so much? The activity isn't as much now as opposed to before.
Well, it's difficult to say, really. I mean, you could say that the area itself is it's obviously steeped in sort of mythology and myth and legend. I mean, Stonehenge is literally a few miles or so down the road.
Mhm.
It's kind of an area that's always had that kind of essence to it.
Yeah.
Um, I think a lot of it as well. If we talk about just going back to the Warminster thing and that period in the 1960s, there was a guy called Arthur Shuttleworth who was kind of the man on the ground. He was a journalist for the Warminster Journal, and he kind of championed it. You know, I think sometimes when you look at a lot of these places where there's a hotspot or an area, window area, whatever you want to call it, there tends to be a focused person who's the guy who's, you know, pressing and pushing and, you know, pushing the fact that this is happening, whether it be in the newspapers and magazines. And he certainly was that, you know. And I think when you've got a person like that, I think that attracts more reports, because if,
Yeah.
you know, if you've got a vocal person, a man on the spot, I think, you know, that, you know, he was kind of getting information from, you know, people left, right, and centre. And of course, and once it became known as a hotspot, you had people coming from all around the world. There could be hundreds of people up there on a Saturday night back in the 1960s. You know, literally.
Wow.
You know,
Go part and parcel with something like that. Yeah. Well, as soon as something breaks out and becomes popular, bang. Yeah. It's like, wow. So I mean, it's interesting that, you know, small places like this, and especially in the 50s, 60s, and up into the 70s, were, you know, I don't, were ideal, it seemed, for these incidents, and a lot of people who witnessed a lot of these sort of events unfolding literally couldn't explain what they had seen, or what, you know, back then, as opposed to say now. Well, I mean, even now you can't really explain it, but you can a little better because of what we've sort of, you know, brought out over the years. But, you know, it's interesting because I guess it's coined the Warminster thing. And
yeah.
and that's, I guess that's exactly, I guess, the best sort of description to call it the thing, because I mean, they
Well,
really don't know.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that was the ambiguous nature of the sounds prior to it, as much as anything, because they didn't know what it was. You know, it was later on when it kind of got established. Hey, it may even be UFO related. Then that label perhaps wasn't used so much. But yeah, it did get that label as the Warminster thing. I think it's quite cool, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So what else, like in terms of you know, UFO and, well, anything, I mean, what else have you been like sort of researching and looking into?
Well, I mean, I'll give you. So with the sky watching, there's been a number of sky watches over the years, and I
Mhm.
think from when was it? From about 2008 onwards, there was a researcher who's sadly now passed, called Kevin Goodman, and
Okay.
Kevin Goodman was someone who was he was a sky watcher in the 70s, and he kind of tried to sort of get things remembered about Warminster, because there wasn't a lot. If you bought a loads of, you know, UFO books prior to the 1990s, one of
Mhm.
these kind of listed books of gave you a sort of compilation of different UFO sightings in the UK. Warminster was always in there.
Yeah.
Come 1990, people kind of seem to forget about it a little bit.
Okay.
And it was kind of Kevin really was instrumental in kind of
Bring it back.
re-establishing it. And what he did, he brought back the annual Skywatch. So the annual Skywatch always fell on the August bank holiday, which we have here in the UK.
Mhm.
One at the end of the month in August. And yeah, he was the person who actually brought that about. And yeah, we started getting a few, 20 people come up who would be sky watching.
Mhm.
But there was a number of things when we talk about it wasn't simply UFOs. Even back then, there was kind of like road ghost phenomena being reported in the
Yeah, yeah,
town
yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time.
Okay.
In an area called Heytesbury, which is again one of the villages just outside of the town.
Mhm.
People driving cars were reporting people walking out into the road, so much so that they had to swerve and
Swerve and
and
crash.
subsequently, well, I don't think anyone crashed, but someone
Yeah.
actually thought they hit someone, got
Yeah.
out to find there was no one there,
Yeah.
So that was reported. But additionally, the point I was trying to make was during these sky watches, there's a barn up at the top of Cradle Hill, which is again one of these UFO watching points for the sky watches.
Yeah.
Very top, there's a kind of barn in a little copse area with like trees. It looks pretty darn creepy actually when you go up there. There is a strange atmosphere and a bit of a feeling of foreboding, but I guess dark places at night do feel like that, don't they?
Yeah, it just kind of gives you that feeling. Yeah.
But we were up there, and there was a small team of guys from Birmingham had come along, and we had like stones rapping against the barn. And one of the people said that they'd had their arm tugged, and I actually experienced someone sort of pinching me on the leg like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was stood next to someone. I thought he'd done it. Like I was like, looking at him, and I moved away, but then I got it again.
Yeah.
And what they were saying, there's someone who is more sort of paranormal research based was sort of asking, saying, "Can you make that stone hit again?" And yeah, they were rapping against the barn. Couldn't see where they were coming from, and you'd have to sort of build in the fact someone might have been hidden in the bushes.
Yeah,
But,
that's always
But this was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and the actual sky watching point was 200 yards away, and no one made a thing to actually go there except us. So that was quite strange. And at the time when these stones were coming down, they were coming down really hard as well and hitting the floor, and it sounded like it was big boulders.
Wow.
Like large boulders.
Okay.
And you couldn't ascertain where they were coming from, because once the first couple were, I thought I'm going to turn around and have a look, see if someone's sort of chucking them, but you couldn't see, But that was quite strange. So that was kind of, I suppose, sort of as again poltergeistly type sort of event, I guess. But yeah, that sort of thing. And then obviously there's lots of people you get. I mean, there's during that period of the 60s and 70s, some of the people who come back to the town are kind of the old guard. Some of the people who were doing it back then, they're kind of in their 70s now, but they're kind of sort of new. They're still sort of a new agey and a bit like that,
And I guess with that too, you have a new crop of people coming forward who are interested in this, and they want to know a little bit more of the actual events. They kind of seek out those people to get their sort of stories.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're good raconteurs and tell like good stories about how they were at the barn. And
I mean, do they share the stories readily? Like, I mean, like hand this sort of legend down. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but there's so many. I mean, you've got all the actual the events which sort of brought about it to become a hotspot. There was one major event where there was a guy called Gordon Faulkner. During 1965, he'd actually taken a photograph.
Yeah,
and this photograph was kind of it was the sort of archetypal flying saucer photo. He actually did take a photo of a flying saucer. Now, debate still rages today whether or not that photo is genuine or not. I don't know. It's hard to say. Who knows? But this is the photo. I have got it somewhere. I'm not actually upstairs in me in my office area. I could probably show you. But it at the time, I think it was the Daily Sunday Mirror actually printed a centre page spread with the photograph, and that's the kind of photo which really cemented it as a hotspot. And thereafter, people will come into the town regularly, Friday night, Saturday nights, and then again they would see something strange.
Yeah.
They tell their friends, and subsequently they'd come along. They might see something odd as well. But a lot of these spots, I've got to say, I've got to put it out there. Warminster is right on the cusp of the Salisbury Plain, so it's very close to the British military's kind of training and proving ground.
Yeah.
And tracer fire and parachute flares are regularly kind of, you can see them, and I'm pretty sure people who weren't aware of it may have misidentified some of that stuff, but by and large, a lot of the locals would have been well aware of that.
Yeah, it's yeah, like, I mean, we do have quite a lot of similar sort of events, but I don't know about Alex. How are you when something like this happens in a small town here? You don't really hear about it
No,
like you do over there. Like, I
no.
mean, there has been certain events that have happened here that do sort of make the rounds, and you're like, wow. But there's
Like
so much.
the orange spheres in the sky.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on here, but very, very little of it's ever talked about. I mean, you might stay in a small little town for, I don't know, whatever, and you might bump into some local, and at a cafe, or a local restaurant or whatever else, and they might be talking maybe a little bit, because for some reason you get into the conversation and they say, oh yeah, I have a radio show on the paranormal. Oh, really? I can tell you a few stories. Oh, really? Cool. But I mean, excuse me, it's not really broadcasted here
No.
like it is in certain other
It's not
parts
as
of the world.
widely accepted here.
No.
I find.
Well, I don't know if it's not that it's accepted. I mean, I just I think people just don't really care, which is kind of weird,
There's
because
that aspect too. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I look at some of the cases that we've covered here on the show that are kind of local, and I'm like, these are great. This is incredible stuff. Why doesn't more people know about this stuff?
Yeah, there's been some terrific kind of Canadian accounts over the years, hasn't there?
Mhm.
The famous Falcon Lake one.
Exactly. Yeah, there's one right there. There's one right there. That's and then there's the one we covered, Alex, the one by the army base up there close to
Yeah.
Ottawa.
Yeah.
That was pretty freaky stuff. But I mean, again, I don't know.
And
I
there's other
really don't.
sightings, like even in the Atlantic region.
Oh, there's tons
Yeah.
in the Atlantic region, tons. But one thing that Alex mentioned here, I don't know over there, or if you've ever stumbled across some of this stuff, Steve, is the orange glow orbs.
Yeah, well, that's by and large that's what people were seeing. They actually Arthur Shuttleworth, the guy who the journalist who worked for the Warminster Journal, who subsequently over a number of years was able to publish a book,
Mhm.
the Warminster Mystery. That was his first book. He brought a number of books out, I think 6 in total. I think I'm right in saying that's 6. But yeah, he kind of these orange luminosities, as he sometimes referred to them as amber gamblers. They were
Oh,
sort
Amber,
of, yeah,
that's
burnished
cool.
sort of orange spears, which would sort of follow the contours of the hills, and they'd swoop down and jump up and then sort of wink out. Yeah, but that's by and large what a lot of people have seen over the years. More so that than the traditional saucers and
Mhm.
or cigar-shaped objects and that nature. Yeah.
I mean, I witnessed some of these a few years ago, and unfortunately, I didn't really get like good footage of it. I managed to grab some footage on a cell phone, but camera. But back then, the cell phone cameras were just absolutely horrible.
No.
And yeah, by the time I managed to get home to get a camcorder, it was just too late. They're long gone.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, you never do it justice filming it on a on your
Cell phone.
mobile
Yeah.
phone. Yeah.
No,
No.
no.
I mean, I've filmed stuff. I've got like through the sort of sky watching that. I've got like some digital night vision stuff, but even then, the colours are thrown out. It doesn't look as you saw it. You know.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that we have that would really give this stuff justice, other than, and I think that's probably the case with why people will say, well, with all these cell phone cameras out, and all these small cameras and blah blah blah. Why haven't we got some really compelling evidence or footage? But I mean, I think it's really hard in many cases.
I think
Still.
that footage is out there. I think people
Yeah.
have got, but it gets lost in the noise. There's loads of fake stuff out there,
Crap
isn't
out there,
there, of
yeah.
course. And obviously, as I say, it gets lost in the noise, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, tons. Now, have you some footage that you've seen? What has blown you away in terms of footage that you're like, wow, okay, there's undeniably this has to be something.
What you mean, talking about in the whole wide, whips?
Yeah, on a personal level, like through your research, or even everything that you've seen.
Well, I mean, through your own research, I mean, you if you filmed it yourself, it's a bit odd, don't you? It's you've got that kind of thing that it's genuine. You can vouch for your own stuff, can't you? It's just everybody else who sees it then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think some of the stuff around some of the best stuff, even the guy who actually brought it out is now kind of not thought of much within the community, and that's probably because he's attached himself to loads of sort of questionable stuff, which is that Yami Musam. But back in the 1990s, when initially there was this big, huge Mexican wave of sightings in the early 1990s, lots of people were sending him sort of camcorder, early camcorder stuff, and some of that stuff's compelling. Now, this isn't sort of flying saucers caught up close, but it's pretty good footage of things in the sky doing pretty incredible things, dipping behind clouds, doing peekaboo sort of movements, zipping away, that sort of thing. I think additionally some of the what was the some of the good footage out there. I'm trying to think now. It'll come to me in a minute, but there's some good some other stuff from the States.
Yeah, like I don't know if you see the recent stuff that came out of what's
the jellyfish thing.
Yeah, what do you think of that? What are your thoughts on that?
It's fodder, really, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't tell us anything, does it? I mean, it's titillating, but we're told there's another 17 minutes where it seemingly goes into the water, and
I read that.
Where's that then? Because that
would
would
show that,
that would seal it, wouldn't it, a little bit better?
Yeah.
I know some people in some quarters, people have said it's a balloon, but it doesn't seem to be ambling like a balloon, does it?
No,
it seems just to be, it's odd, but
But even the movement of it too. I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like a balloon. The movement just seems so.
No,
I want to say mechanical.
I mean, it's filmed. I think it's filmed off a tethered blimp, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was some sort of what was it? Like I forget what they're saying. What it actually came from, but
yeah, it was. I think it was Afghanistan. It was from obviously some sort of base, and it was filmed from a tethered blimp, and the actual operator or whoever filmed it off the screen, didn't he?
Yeah,
and him or her, and then obviously subsequently leaked it to Jeremy Corbett, who sat on it for some time apparently before he, obviously recently released it in the last couple of months. But yeah, it's interesting. But I mean, I don't know what are we all supposed to make of it. Really, I don't know. I mean, I think there's better stuff. I mean, undoubtedly there's better stuff than that, which the military's got, haven't they? But obviously we're not likely to see that, are we, anytime soon?
No. But I mean, ultimately, you could throw footage like that out to us, and we could absorb it how we feel fit. But I mean, Is it? Yeah, exactly. Is it really telling us anything important?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, well, I mean, with the Jeremy Corbell, he had the what else? He had those triangle ones, didn't he? With the night vision.
Yeah.
Again, that was kind of not debunked as being not being strange, but certainly the shape of them was because of the optics of the camera was making the shape of a triangle as opposed to that actually being triangular in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, if you look on there, there is like navigational lights flashing on that other one. The one
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
supposed, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I can understand why they've leaked it to him because he's obviously got a massive audience, hasn't he? So
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Dinkum says in chat, most of what he releases is trash. I mean, does it really equate to something that is actual? I don't know. I think it's just sensational, to be honest. You know,
yeah,
it's look at trying to raise awareness. I mean, I don't think we need that kind of stuff to be our awareness to be raised. I mean, I'm quite aware of strange stuff myself. I'm not saying everybody is, but I mean, most people who have sort of been on this level are quite aware of what seems to be, okay, look at that, absolutely looks like it might be something,
hmm
right? I mean, for instance, Steve, you're driving through the English countryside and, all of a sudden you see these strange lights in the sky. Most people would probably just keep driving, where you'd probably say, okay, let's look at this a little closer, maybe pulling over and taking a look and saying, oh man, maybe I do have something. This is crazy. This is unusual. Those aren't
hmm
traditional planes or whatever else, right? And now we got to deal with drones,
yeah, sure.
right?
Plus the fact that I think it's only sort of 10% of all UFO witnesses actually report what they've seen anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, John says, controlled drone to be fair, plus all modern phones and cameras. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. Totally agree. Totally agree. So, okay. Getting back to your work. You've again, you worked with the John, what is it, John Hanson?
That's it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so go a little bit more in details with that. Like, is he the same guy that has that UFO museum sort of thing?
That's the
Library?
one. Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm gonna say. He's got like that's his kind of new thing, really. I mean, since he's published the 15 books, which is chronicled sort of from 1930s right up to sort of modern times, he's actually now compiled an archive, and I think he's got something like I don't know, 200,000 plus
Wow.
files there, and it's open to the public, by appointment. People can go along and have a look at at their leisure. Yeah, but yeah, it's really a treasure trove. Really, he's got lots of stuff. He's got the Broadhaven. Can you remember? Did you watch the Netflix documentary, the Encounters documentary?
I did.
And
Yes,
do
yes.
you remember the Encounters one where they had the West Wales one, the Broadhaven
Yes,
sightings, the school children?
intriguing one. That was an intriguing
Yeah.
case.
Well, he's got all the original drawings that the children did. So the teacher sat the children down, and the following day, and they all sort of drew pictures, and he's actually got those within his collection. So yeah, it's worth seeing.
Matt says you're looking good, Steve.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah. So this library and okay, so he's an ex uh police, ex cop, whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, and I know a lot of these guys really just don't, kind of get involved with that kind of stuff. They don't really believe in that stuff. But then you have the odd ones that go, well, oh, why John? Like, I mean, what got John into this sort of, oh, this is what I want to do?
Well, he was retired by then. John had retired from the. If you're lucky enough, if you can retire when you're 50 here if you're a police officer in the UK. Yeah, so he'd been retired for a number of years. So it was a family member who'd actually reported it whilst on duty, and John. They obviously contact John and just told him, and that was it for him. That was it. That was the catalyst for him to sort of really get his teeth stuck into it and started investigating these things. But yeah, I mean, he's got tens of thousands of files. Really, I mean, it's worth it is, and obviously it's still growing. He's still getting stuff all the time. So
now, when you say investigate, like, does he thoroughly investigate? Like, how deep are we talking about when he gets?
Well, I mean, when we get these files, a lot of them are. It's anecdotal stuff, isn't it? Because most UFO sightings aren't they? Unless you can actually get sort of radar tracking information and the likes, you're reliant on just people witness testimony to. But certainly what he's done, he's obviously drove up and down the country, getting to the gritty, speaking to people, interviewing them at length, this sort of thing. Yeah, for many years. Yeah, he's done some good work, and I mean, I don't know if ultimately he's looking to try and actually expand that into some sort of. He actually lives up in Stratford-on-Avon. I think he's maybe looking to house it somewhere in a an all-purpose building just for that, because currently he's got it in his house. So. Yeah, I think ultimately it'll be a standalone thing, in a museum or library of something of this sort.
You and Matt of the Secret Vault just went up and did a little sort of documentary on his sort of museum, if you will, in the house.
Yeah.
And
who's that? Me and who?
Matt, the Secret Vault. Yeah, dude, I love it. Who's that guy?
No, we've done quite a few different bits with Matthew. We've still got some we're sitting on at the moment, because I think the idea was we interviewed like an experience, a woman who she's got MS now. She's but she's had a sort of dramatic kind of experience when she was about 10. That we've got that to bring out. We've filmed that. We did some archival work in Warminster. That's the other thing, that we've got like a standalone kind of UFO files, which the town's got in the local sort of library. You can go along and have a look. We've gone through some of that myself. Matthew, we filmed some of that. Additionally, we actually investigated and was able to interview some pilots a couple of years ago, actually at the airport up in Wolverhampton. They'd seen some strange lights over towards Gloucestershire over the M5.
Okay,
that was interesting. We went and spoke to them at length and interviewed. It was good to have Matt there, because obviously Matt, has pilot's license and that, so he could kind of ask the questions, which probably I wouldn't have known, sort of what sort of questions
were
asked, perhaps.
Were they pretty forthcoming? Like, I mean, they're okay sharing everything.
Yeah, I think one of them was. I think one of them wasn't. He was happy to talk to us, but he also worked as a commercial pilot as well. These guys were. These guys were. They used to train would-be pilots, right? And one of the guys was also a commercial pilot, and he didn't really want to put it out there. But we actually filmed one of the guys, and we I think Matthew filmed it, so we didn't actually get his face in, and we gave him an assumed name and that.
Yeah, it's interesting how a lot of pilots are coming out of the woodwork over the years. Of course, seemingly because it seems a little bit more open to share these experiences. But I mean, there even now, yeah, there's a lot of these pilots still can't say anything. They're not allowed to.
No, there's obviously there's always been that element, hasn't there? You know, a taboo, if you like. You know that you know that it could be compromising to their careers, this sort of thing, especially if you were a commercial pilot or military pilot. But
Mhm.
I think there's been a somewhat of a sea change to that
Yeah,
since 2017. Since that period when Leslie Keane did the New York Times story and the likes. It seemed that people are readily more open to come forward to put their accounts out there. Yeah.
true, true. Yeah, it's I mean, obviously, when you're a pilot, you're obviously trained to keep certain things in and be as professional as possible. But then, I don't know, are they actually trained or I don't know, maybe it's a part of their training now, but before it probably wasn't, to sort of deal with a certain event that would be like UFO based if they're ever come across something like that? Like, I mean, what is there any training for that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but pilots are people and people are fallible, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're as anyone else. I mean, like the police the same, but they're good at taking down information, aren't they? And calculating times and when this happened, and and the likes. But yeah, I think J. Allen Hynek said that
Yeah.
they were no better witnesses than anyone else, really. But that they are kind of seen as the gold seal, aren't they? A pilot has a sighting, and that tends to be the actual, the gold seal, as opposed to Mrs. Hoggins down the road who doesn't really know what's going on, can't tell the
Yeah.
difference between a helicopter and a flying saucer. But people tend to know if they've seen something strange, don't they? By and large.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's and there's a lot of it. And it's, well, obviously a lot of the stuff sort of coming out of the woodwork after years of being, no, I don't want to say necessarily suppressed, but I mean, we're talking about men in black level here, Steve.
Mm.
You say something, we're gonna come and get you.
Yeah.
All
Well, we
right.
actually, again, me and Matthew actually interviewed a guy again through one of John Hanson's previous cases from the 1950s. I don't know if you've seen that, when he actually came across a landed UFO, a landed flying saucer.
Okay.
And in the days afterwards, he had two men come and visit him and threaten him. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And we talk. I don't know what the equation is over there of Men in Black. Is it the same sort of scenario over there in the UK or?
yeah, but they don't have Cadillacs, they have Jags, so
Yeah,
and they don't wear fedoras, they have bowler hats.
boulder
Yeah,
hats.
yeah,
And
bowler hats on.
holy crap. Have you ever been approached?
Why have man? No, not yet. No,
No?
not no, not no, not yet.
Well, that's a question.
It
You
could
never
happen.
know, right? You could.
You never know.
Maybe after
Getting
this.
too close to the truth.
Yeah. Okay. So Matt, hold on. Let's see here. Matt post. Night flying all pilots must use hot traffic control device craft. So the pilots, yeah, advised. Okay. And then, which is why they know the odds. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So there is some sort of training, if you will. There's some
Yeah,
sort of training, which is like, I don't know. I'm the last person to ask about piloting skills and training and stuff. So you kind of think they'd have to have some sort of, you know, something in the repertoire to deal with these kind of incidents when they do come up. I mean, it's a given. I mean, I mean, what do you think the percentage of pilots that have come across something like this?
I don't know, but they say that people like within the RAF and that when there's not so many people who would come forward and necessarily, say that they'd had one, but they'd always heard of someone who'd seen something, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to the amount of people who are actually willing to come forward and report. So, you might say that, lots of people have seen it, especially those in the air, in the RAF or, of sorts, may have seen things of a strange nature, but just simply didn't come forward with it.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to take a short break here, and when we
Okay.
come back, more with Steve. And again, special time here on YouTube. We will be rebroadcasting this obviously throughout the week on the New Visions Radio Network. So yeah. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Steve Wills.
Good evening. I'm Richard Palmisano, the founder of the Searcher Group. It's a paranormal company, the oldest in Canada. I founded it in 1979, which not only makes me old, but makes me doing paranormal research and field work for just under 45 years now. I am also an author, researcher, and lecturer on the paranormal. I've written 6 books now. And I really enjoy coming on with Steve and Alex on Nocturnal Frequency Radio, as well as listening to the shows, because there's a lot of interesting guests there. I like it, looking at this stuff, because it's it opens your mind to other options and other alternative thoughts. And, there's always time to learn new things. So I hope you join us and come and see Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you.
So let me ask you, what makes for good radio?
My 5 favorite songs all day long.
Play it again.
No.
As many commercials as physically possible.
What? No, why would that be good?
Great music, great talk shows, no commercials.
Precisely. New Visions Radio gives you no commercials, no nonsense, just the best new music and the best talk all day long, 24/7, 365. NewVisionsRadio.com.
Hey guys, Kristen here, host of the Paranormal Girl podcast, a bingeable exploration and deep dive education about the paranormal for the skeptical believer. Some of my past season topics have included shadow people, Mandela effect, demons, and UFOs. Currently, I am tackling Bigfoot. I have been sharing this journey with my audience since early 2021, and I have learned a lot these last few years. It's truly a mysterious world out there beyond our perceptions, and reality is just not what it seems. I have also, since the start, met some awesome folks like Alex and Steve, and I've really enjoyed watching and learning from them and also joining them on their show. Their guests are always outstanding, their listeners are just the coolest, and these hosts are some of my favorite people. I recommend their show to anyone looking for an intelligent and fun conversation about the paranormal amongst friends. So join me on my investigation, join Steve and Alex on theirs, and enjoy. Now back to the show. You are watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
And welcome back. I'm just waiting for the other two to come back. Once again, we have Steve Wills on this evening, who is a UK UFO based. Oh, I think we just waiting for Alex to come back too. And anyways, smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. We're almost at 1K. So here we go. I think we got there's well, he's almost there. Hold on a sec here. There you go. There's Steve. Just wait for there's Alex there. All right. Yeah. So yeah, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We're almost at the 1K. We're almost at 1K. Help us get to 1K. Oh, Steve lost connection. We'll bring him back in once he comes back. Anyways, interesting story in chat there. I don't know if you had noticed that, Alex.
Back to my desk.
What's that?
I said no because I just got back to my desk.
Bucharest guided tours has a photo that he had taken from 1994, a landed UFO picture from the Glen Douglas base in Scotland. It's nowhere online. And you there, Steve? Oh, he's just sorting stuff out there. Oh, there you go. Anyhow,
hey guys,
you can't hear it. Can you hear us? Uh-oh. Can you hear us?
No, I don't think you can.
I was going to say, you can't hear us if I was going to say just reboot.
Let me
or just
jump out and jump back in again.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was going to say that. Yep. Yeah. A sign language.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's got a photo, and B in chat was saying, email it to us. So I'm intrigued. I'd like to see this photo.
Yeah. Trying to
So,
see. I'm just trying to read it.
Okay, let me just.
And this fucking cold needs to die.
Yeah, you can't escape these colds, dude.
No, man. Not when you have a 2-year-old.
That's what I was gonna say. Like we said, your daughter's wreaking havoc on you.
Yes, she is.
I use sign language at the car window all the time. Yeah, I think a lot of us do. Hold on a sec. Let's see.
Good thing I have a mute button.
What's that?
It's a good thing I have a mute button.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get rid of this stupid thing here. And go back here. And let's see.
Oh, man.
Yeah, okay. It's
worse getting sick on a long weekend, too.
Oh, yeah. Happy Family Day tomorrow. Yeah, Alex. What do you said? Okay, hold on a sec. Let me just.
Hey, what's going on? We got 32 people watching, only 5 likes. Come on.
No, it's more than that. Hey,
Yeah,
Steve, how are you? Can you hear us?
How you doing? Can you hear me now?
Yep, can hear you. Okay, hold on. You can send it to. I don't mind. There we go. There you go, Bucharest. Steve Matt's saying put your phone on vibrate because we keep hearing the text or whatever. Is that was I was just reading it. Hold on. Steve, it can put his phone on no vibrate. Anyways, we got
the fun in that, Matt.
Bucharest has got a photo that he was talking about. Let's see. That he had taken from a landed UFO picture taken in 1994 beside the Glen Davis Air Base or base in Scotland. Anyways, he's gonna forward it to us, and he wants to know, or they want to know, what exactly it is. So maybe we can sort of figure that out. Hold on, let me just make sure. I just gotta open the email and make sure it's not there yet. Okay. Okay, nothing yet. I'll wait. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, okay. Let's get back to it. Okay. So, Dingo. We hear a phone buzz constantly.
It's my vibrator.
Is that your vibrator? Yeah.
It is, yeah. I have it set to go every few seconds.
Go figure.
I'm trying to massage my prostate.
Oh man. Well, you're getting to that age where you're going to need to, right?
That's why I'm doing it.
Hey, getting ready for the old test there, buddy.
That's it.
So, Steve, getting back to your interest and the reason why you're doing this, and I mean, are you open with a lot of people that you bump into, like friends and all that kind of stuff, that you do this, that you research UFO activity and so on and so on, and what kind of I guess reactions do you get from people when you tell people this?
Yeah, pretty mixed, really. Some people take the piss, don't they? And others kind of generally have an interest. I mean, some of the people who take the piss have quietly sort of said to me, oh, my mum or my parents said they saw something, way back when. So I think it's kind of it's got that giggle factor to it anyway, haven't they? Anything of that nature. But yeah, I think generally my friends are all right with it. They kind of interested. It's sort of it's not it's not the thing of hilarity or anything with me friends. They kind of know I do it, and it kind of sits all right with them, I think.
So how did you hook up with Matt? Like with doing all the stuff that you've done with Matt, how did you guys?
Well, I kind of just knew Matt from his we probably would have bumped into each other during the 90s when speaking to Matt. I've said to him about UFO conferences like in Cardiff and stuff, and he
Yeah.
said, oh yeah, I was at that one, I went to that. So we were probably going to the same sort of conferences, we just didn't really know each other. But then obviously I knew about his stuff from Truth Seeker Review. Matthew produced his own magazine for many years, like UFOs and strange phenomena type thing, mostly UFOs.
Mhm.
In fact, yesterday when we were at this conference, we were at a conference in Manchester. Someone actually kind of hat tipped Matthew for his his stuff. He kind of gave this guy who was one of the main speakers like his first sort of column, or he put his article out in his magazine. So yeah, it was like many people. I mean, back in the 90s and 80s and early, that's what people used to do, bring out these kind of sort of zines, really, sort of home produced zines, which came out, which people used to swap round with other organizations and different groups and that sort of thing. But yeah, but obviously I knew about him from his sort of crop circle making sort of escapades, really. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating, the whole crop circle thing. Because I mean, again, when you're involved with the sort of the paranormal, the UFO sort of community, and obviously crop circles are a huge part of it. And kind of hearing about all these incidents that happened in the late 90s and then early 2000s with crop circles, and then actually you know talking to somebody who was out there making these things,
Mm.
and literally not afraid to share the tools of the trade, if you will,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what it was like to do these. I mean, it really gives you a different perspective on that. Like, most people will say, well, yeah, okay, yeah, there's people out there, you know, they're man-made, but at the same time, there's a reason why they're man-made.
Sure.
It's sort of a like a some sort of a communication with an intelligent sort of species. And
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those crop circle makers, have said that they felt compelled to go out or do a particular design, these sort of things, whereby other people had kind of willed them to do that design, if you like. Crop circle makers have also said that they've experienced strange phenomena whilst they do
Mhm.
it, balls of light, this sort of thing. And even some of the sort of meter readings that people have they've had strange. We talked about vehicle interference earlier on, that people have had sort of equipment malfunctions within crop circles, even though some of these were undoubtedly man-made. So some people have said they've had healings from these kinds of just been going in these circles. Some people said they feel quite ill when they've gone in. So yeah, I mean, but I think by and large people miss that aspect of it, don't they? They kind of think, well, it's made by people, and I think they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, really, to an extent. But having said that, crop circles sort of gained sort of mass popularity sort of in the late 80s and the early 90s. But
Yeah.
there were some prior to that. There's a good book. I can't remember what the name of it. It's not a big book, but there was certainly sort of crop circles in a very basic element. I'm talking about circles as opposed to elaborate pictograms in the 50s right up, and not always in places where people would necessarily come across them as well. So
yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't rule them out completely as being, but mostly made by people, I would say, and I think that's fairly well established now. You don't want to. It's people's belief systems. You don't want to kind of, people believe what they like, can't they? Ultimately, I wouldn't try to sway their beliefs, but
yeah.
I've seen enough to know that, people are doing this.
Yeah. Do you think the reason why people are doing it are because they were shown what to do by something?
Well, yeah, if you listen, well, maybe. I mean, Matt seems to think so, doesn't he? In certain aspects. I mean, I don't know. I can't come up to the subject as a crop circle maker. I've been privy to have been out and actually seeing these guys make them at night time. So at least I know that it can be done. I've seen and witnessed that. But how? Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think Matt tells a story, doesn't he? That didn't he have some design he thought compelled to do or something? Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, I don't know. The thing around the UFOs, the consciousness side of it, crop circles. I think there is a link there, isn't there?
I do believe there is. I do believe there's on a whole sort of different level that we do have the ability to, but we just don't know how. It needs to be, I think, unlocked. And for some people, it has been unlocked. And you hear a lot of people that come out of the woodwork and talk about how that sort of level of consciousness or level of communication has been given to them or shown to them how to utilize that they've never been able to utilize before. Bucharest sent the photo. So here's the photo here. And again, let me just get it ready, guys. And this is from where did I say? Okay, hold on. Let me just 1994. Let me just and this is from Glen Douglas Base in Scotland. And let me just 1998. Okay, hold on. Share the photo. Again, I don't know. Share screen.
What? And this is his own photo, is it?
This is his own photo, yeah. So there's the photo. There's the photo there. And I guess at the top of the hillside there. Let me just so I don't know what to make of that. I don't know. Again, I'm not familiar with that area, so I don't know.
Definitely a structure.
The Ford Escort.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see what he's on top of the brow of the hill. Yeah, Vauxhall.
Yeah,
Vauxhall Astra.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like I don't know, what? Maybe it's some sort of tent or.
Well, I like a metal sort of structure. Yeah, I mean it's hard to tell. I mean, do the columns or the legs or whatever, do they kind of, are they longer than what we're actually seeing because of the hillside? I don't know. Near the base, we went back a week later and it was gone.
Right. Well, did why didn't he go up the brow of the hill and have a look?
Yeah, were you able to go up the brow of the hill to take a look? And Thinkum says it looks like an Arabian smoking tent.
It might very well be.
But yeah, I mean, you don't know. I mean, that's what I mean. It's the hill is bigger
Yeah,
than it.
it's odd, isn't it? It's
Yeah. And again, to give you a gist of it, there's the road, the car, and in the background. But yeah, I mean, you can see that the cliff area of the hill might be kind of treacherous to try to get up. Do you have another, or is this, hold on, we didn't see it only. Okay, so the video.
There's video of it. Is there? Is that? Yeah, it
Is
looks
there
like
video
a
of
still.
it?
Looks like a still from a video, doesn't it? It's got like a time code at the
Yeah.
bottom.
I mean, if there was another sort of frame that you're able to show. Oh, okay. I would love to see the video, because I think, or the snippet where you sort of show this, it's from a VHS. That's what I figured. I mean, if you have the whole sort of edited area where this is taken from, I would love to see it, because we probably have a better gist of what it might be or what it could possibly be. It's kind of hard right now because, like I said, I don't know the area.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is he,
I mean,
is he able to give us a map of that area where that is actually like a pin drop to where it was, and we could probably have a look at that area to see whether or not.
Well, he says it's from the Douglas. Let me just see here.
But he also said that he went back later and it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. Let me just. What did he say? The Douglas.
It almost could be like one of those temporary research tents that they set up in order to do some field
stuff,
research.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. But that doesn't tend. It looks metallic, doesn't it?
It does look metallic, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just looking here.
Picnic gazebo, yeah.
Gazebo, yeah.
Base. Okay, so.
But if he's got additional video, we'd be happy to have a look.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would love to.
He said he can send the video in about 10 minutes.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, because I mean, from that, okay, that's Glen Davis Road,
just off the A82.
Road. Okay. I think, okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got a gist of where it is. Let me just see, because I see the brow. And he said that's by the A42. What do you say? Sorry.
It's
A82.
A82,
okay.
yeah, Glen Douglas Road. Glen Douglas's Road, just off the A82.
Okay. I'm trying to get a 3D. Okay. And is the base still there? Yeah, I'm on Google Earth right now. And Matt, he's asking to have it sent to him. Glenn Douglas base is a nuclear base. I'm at Hillside near Lockhoth, but this was outside the base. Okay. So a nuclear base. Okay.
Yeah, it does seem to have like a sort of dome shape with these sort of stilted legs either side and something in the middle, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely intriguing. It's just yeah, I'm following this road. Yeah, I can't seem to get it entirely on Google Maps.
You probably won't unless you're familiar with the general
Yeah,
area.
no,
anyway.
I'm not getting it. Yeah, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. Okay. Well, that's intriguing. Like, I mean, it definitely looks metallic. There's no doubt about that. I mean, given the sort of the sun or the sun kind of the light sort of bouncing off the material. And I mean, I think Matt could probably clean it up a little bit so it's a little bit intriguing.
Yeah, be interested if is it Bucharest? You say the guy?
Yeah, Bucharest guided tours.
Yeah, I mean, if he could show us kind of Google Maps of that area and pinpoint exactly where he was or where that car was, we'd probably get a better understanding. Probably look at the general surrounds and have a better idea there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've got it, but I mean, it doesn't look like it's hold on. Oh, wait a sec here. Hold on. Oh, okay. No, I mean, it looks like there's a point. I mean, it goes around. It's an interesting road, that's for sure. Very windy, but the actual area, and I mean, we're talking about 20 odd years.
Yeah, more.
So I mean, things have probably
25
changed.
years.
Things have probably changed. Matt's Matt's going. You need to put the no vibrate on your phone, Steve. You got your vibrate on. Take care, Cal. But I mean, you know, how often do you get, you know, people coming forward to you with, like, I mean, do you have people coming forward to you with cases and saying, "Hey, look at, explain this to me, Steve, because I don't know, this is weird."
I get cases from other researchers sometimes to say, well, you know, I've been approached by someone, but they're not kind of in my general sort of locality. They're more where you live. Could you go and have a look at this or speak to that person? Well, sometimes you might actually see something in a local newspaper report and then try and follow it up from that angle. You know, so you know, write to the newspaper and say, look, you know, I'm a researcher. I'm interested in speaking to, you know, the witness or that, and then they sometimes give you the contact details that way.
Yeah, I mean, I do get that quite a bit too. I mean, I do get people who have something very intriguing, and it's like, damn, I can't. That's like on the other side of the world. I can't do anything about it. But yeah, I will contact people that I know are in the know and that do this, like such as yourself, and say, hey, Steve, look, I got this case. It might be close to you. Can you maybe possibly look into it? Yeah, I get that quite often. Um, no, just reading the chat there. And like, have you ever had a case though that just is baffling?
Well, a lot
Like,
of them are. A
well,
lot
I
of them
know a
are.
lot of them are, but there's always that one that just sticks in your mind.
Well, I mean the guy who we actually spoke about earlier, the one who had the historical account of a UFO landing in 1950s, he actually approached this thing,
Yeah.
and he could see like lights going on and what he appeared people moving around or something moving around inside. Um, and then he got very frightened, and then it took off in front of him, turned to the side, and then shot off like a bullet from the gun. So not only do you have that, you obviously just that strange encounter, then he had that follow up with these sort of Men in Black type people a week later. So I mean, yeah, you try to scratch your head to sort of work out, what was going on there, what would completely odd, weird, uncanny sort of event, wouldn't it? Really, I mean. But a lot of them are like that. But I mean, to the most people, the most sighted would just be lights in the sky type sighting, and I think it's 90+%. I think we can say is misidentifications of things such as aeroplanes,
Mhm.
satellites, general things that people misidentify. But then there's like 3% which kind of do baffle, and that's the kind of ones that I'm interested in, really.
Do you think we have had contact with an intelligent civilization?
Um, uh, do I think we have? Do you know what? I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether UFOs represent ET, from outer space. I'm not sure. I mean, I've read all the literature that suggests that they are, and I know, it's a huge kind of part of the whole thing.
Mhm.
UFOs equals flying saucers equals space visitors, but I think something else might be going on. I'm not entirely sure if that is the thing. I mean, there's a lot of talk of, since it's in vogue now to talk about trans-dimensional stuff and all that.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it's even that comes in waves, becomes popular. I mean, John Keel and Jacques
Mm.
Vallée were talking about this in the 60s,
Yep.
tail end of the 60s, and that. But certain ideas build up sort of gravitas over time, don't they? And yeah, I mean, it's a strange one. I mean, who knows, really? I mean, who knows? I don't know. But
Do you, do
I'm
you, do you think it most probably equates more to, say, secret technology or technology that they don't, like, governments don't want people to know?
well, I think that exists as well,
Yeah.
but yeah, but you have to think, how did they acquire the secret technology?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah, no, I think there's definitely that element of well, whether what's the new on vogue word, non-human intelligence, as
Yeah.
people say now, don't they? Rather than say ET or whatever. I think that's probably a better term because it's kind of all encompassing, isn't it, to a degree? Um, I don't know is the honest answer, but I think there's generally, I think that obviously the phenomena is real, and I think when we talk about a phenomena, we're talking about several different aspects. I don't think we're talking about one thing either. I think we're talking about. I mean, there's obviously some sort of geological plasma type events which form these kind of, whether you want to call them earth lights or you know, whatever they get called, but they're sort of plasma. They're these sort of things we're talking about, these sort of luminosities, these balls of light. But even some of them, so if you think you could explain them away, but then even they seem to move intelligently. So
yeah.
you know, I think you're dealing with a multitude of different things.
Yeah, I mean, I do think. Well, I don't want to say I think. I want to believe. Wait a sec. I want to believe. Yeah, no, it's. But I mean, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Steve. I do. I mean, I think people, maybe there has. I think what's happening is that maybe there has been the odd sighting or sightings that do kind of equate to maybe something possibly extraterrestrial, but maybe that is only, extremely rare. And the fact that it's happened, and we've had this going on for years now, these modern day experiences, if you will. I don't want to talk about historic, because I mean, throughout history, for centuries, thousands of years, there have been sort of indications through paintings and hieroglyphs and all sorts of things that we've had contact with what looks like something that might be intelligent, some sort of intelligent civilization other than ours. May it be us coming back from the future or interdimensional or whatever else? Yeah, it could quite possibly be that. Is it a whole different intelligent race from another planet light years away, who's been able to, surf the intergalactic sort of waves and hit those wormholes and time travel or whatever else to make it to our planet within, incredible speeds that we could only dream of? Yeah.
Or could it be something that, as a human race, we couldn't even fathom it?
Exactly. I mean, there's so many. We humans rely heavily on our senses, the tangible, the things that we can experience through our senses. I mean, we have to realize there's a lot more out there than what we can sense with our five senses.
Yeah, absolutely,
and this is probably, I mean, you look at our minds, and you look at again, you look at how we perceive things in a sort of three-dimensional sort of aspect.
Yeah.
What if these intelligent sort of civilizations or beings or whatever else are, say, communicating on, say, a four-dimensional level of sorts that we can't perceive?
Exactly. Yeah, it's entirely possible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just incredible. And it just goes on and on and on, and it's baffling. But you know what? I really enjoy the guys such as yourself, these, that really dedicate a lot of time and effort, and especially because, like I said, I've always been intrigued with UFOs, but I've never really taken the step forward to actually, seriously investigate it. I'm more sort of on a paranormal level. But I mean, I would.
Of course, there's these massive overlaps anyway.
Yeah.
These, I think you've got to kind of be multifaceted these days anyway, haven't you? Because the things do stem into, take your what's it called, Bubble Boy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that was interesting, wasn't it? I mean, that that had kind of, how would you call that? Was it cryptid? Was it UFO humanoid? Was it, apparition? You know,
I, you know,
you've got to kind of cover all the angles, haven't you? Really, to a degree at least.
We've shown so many people, and just everyone's baffled by it.
Mm.
I mean,
it is an intriguing photo.
Yeah, but I mean the story itself is intriguing.
Yeah.
And then when we're all set to go investigate it, he shuts things down.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a bit of a red flag, though. That is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose you could look at that a couple of ways. Like, he's either been frightened off, or maybe he thinks, "Oh, I don't really want someone coming here because it, a hoax or something of that nature, perhaps." But
the photos hadn't been published at all. I promised I wouldn't publish the photos.
Right.
And things went silent for what close to maybe 5 years, and then all of a sudden,
he's popped up again since, has he?
Well, I don't know if he popped up, but they did talk about it on a local radio network station here, and I'm like, wait a sec, how the hell did they get that photo? I didn't publish it. So he must have came forward, because I mean, I don't know anybody else who has those photos other than myself. Well, now other people might have the photos now, but I myself and maybe him and another friend. But
and was it simply just he wasn't having other experiences or anything of that nature? It was just simply this one-off, or two.
No, if I don't know if I put the show. I don't know if the archive's up. Have I put the archive? I think no. Maybe I haven't put the archive. I have to put the archive up. But he came on the show to talk about it.
Yeah.
And when he was talking about after he had Hey Urban Legend UK, he was saying that he was at work, and one evening he was working, I guess it was afternoon shift or evening shift or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a phone call from his wife, and his wife was saying that they're outside their back window, the back window there. There was a green light, like sort of like hovering, and kind of like almost like spying on her. And it was really freaking her out. And when she went to go approach it, it kind of took off.
Right.
And she was frightened to shit. So of course he had to leave work and boot his way home, and that was the end of that. But I mean, yeah, it's just kind of weird. Yeah,
it was like an orientation issue.
Yeah.
And he's frozen. I think we may have lost him.
Oh, we might have. But yeah, the whole Bubble Boy thing is just, it's still, I don't care. I've looked at those.
It's
photos.
one of the most unique things that I've come across.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't explain it.
No, you can't. And it's interesting, like, because as Steve alluded to earlier, it crosses all kinds of different fields, I guess, for lack of a better term, like paranormal, ufology, crypto, and all that kind of stuff. It is true. It does cross that kind of threshold. But exactly. Yeah, the magnetic pole just flipped. Yes,
we lost him.
It's all Dinkum. It's all the buzzing. It just kind of it got too much.
Sorry for you. Sorry for those that were nodding off and thought that was their morning alarm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was intriguing. Like I said, I was all set. I couldn't wait to go investigate that property. And the fact that
No, it would have been interesting. It would have been very interesting.
yeah, how they got the property was the property was seized by the authorities because it was a drug place, right?
That would explain it.
And he got the property dirt cheap. Dinkum, you sent me. I think you didn't you send me this before? I think you might have sent me. Hold on a sec. Dinkum sent
No nudities allowed, please.
He's only joking.
No
because
vibrators.
He's only joking because
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Let me. Now, did you want us to show the video, Dinkum? I know you have it on YouTube, but did you want me to show it? No, I have seen it, I think. If you want, I can play it. I don't know. That's up to you. I don't want to play it if you don't want me to play it. Just let me know if you want.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So here we go. We'll show. Let me just pull it up on YouTube. Let's see. Okay, let me just put it on this format here. Okay, here we go. Let me just share screen. And this is, yeah, I kind of remember this. I do. And this is similar to what we'd seen. Right, Alex?
Yeah, it's similar to what I've seen in the past.
Similar to what I've seen.
I've seen multiple orange orbs.
Yeah.
Like 3 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something similar to that for sure.
Yeah, I've
This is like almost like a salmon.
3. There was 3 in the time that I had experienced 3.
An orange,
myself.
and it's that's way too bright to be a satellite. And it's not an aircraft because it doesn't have strobe lights.
No. Unless you filmed it just in case.
I'm going to try and move somewhere where I don't have the spotlights shining in there.
I'll turn a light off.
Yeah? Oh, that's better. Well, when I zoom in, it's just a big, it's a pulsating orb.
Yeah, look, there's another one there. Look. See the other one moving there, Alex?
Yeah.
Is that fireworks going off, Dinkum? Sounds like fireworks going off.
Yeah, I got it going past the star, and you can see the speed it's moving, and it's moving slower than the last thing that passed over.
Yeah, it's moving slower. Yeah, he said yes.
The last one that moved over was going twice that speed, but
yes, it's correct. Yeah.
But that's basically what I witnessed.
Yeah, one straight after the other, both sort of traveling in similar direction, but only a minute behind. Well, this one's definitely slower.
Yeah.
Whoa.
No, I mean that Sue. That's one of the things that constantly come up.
Yeah, now it's almost stopped moving. It's actually stopped. It's like it's.
come up as Chinese lanterns. I know damn well. The ones that I'd seen, there was no way, absolutely no way, they were flares or Chinese lanterns.
Trying to stop shaking. See that how it's blinking on and off?
See that shoot the way it did?
That's
Yeah.
why he was saying that it was
yeah.
at some point it was going to do some crazy
Yeah,
shit.
that is crazy.
Yeah, it's shut off now.
Yeah, that's insane, huh? Like, yeah, mine was like that, similar like that. The movements just didn't make sense. And
The
then,
ones
like,
I saw wasn't like that. Mine were very slow and methodical, but
yeah,
it's just the way that it all happened. It was kind of weird because, like I said, I mean, where we used to live, we were right along the flight path to the airport,
Mhm.
and they were coming originally. The way they were coming towards us, they were heading the right way to go towards the airport, but then they veered north, which is completely off track.
Yeah.
And that's what made me, and just the fact that there was three of them, and and one was lagging behind, and then it sped up to catch up to the other two. That kind of made it weird as well, because I can't see that being any sort of like aircraft or helicopter even, or what have you, because when they got to where they were almost right above us and started veering north, there was no noise. Like there were no jet engine sound, which we could hear all the time when the planes were flying over us. Helicopters, same thing. You could hear it. Couldn't hear a thing with these three orange orbs.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. We got the video. Let me just open it up here. Let me just see if I can play it here. Okay. All right. I got it here. Let me just here's the video from the Glenn Douglas Budacrest sent it. Hey Andrew 5000ish, how are you? Okay, let me just load it up here. No. Window. There we go. Okay, so here we go.
Scene from Knight Rider.
Yeah, there we go. Let me just can I don't want the volume. I just yeah, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's just in that one area right there. I mean, it's definitely a structure. There's no doubt about it. But what?
Yeah, it's hard to make out what it is.
Yeah. I'd have to run it very, very interesting. Budacrest indeed. Very interesting. Let me just yeah, it very interesting. I mean, what it is, I don't know. Like I said, I'll run it through an editor and my editor and take a look at it closely as much as possible. It's kind of hard on VHS, but you never know. But yeah, intriguing. Yeah, back to the orange lights. Like I don't know. Like it's been a phenomenon for a long time. And it's funny because I never really even heard about these orange orb. The orange
So what happened
orb.
to you?
Sorry?
Until you saw the orange orbs yourself.
Until I saw them myself, until I experienced them myself. Like I said, I'm driving home And the stretch of road that I was driving on at the time was lit, but not overly lit. There was just farmland to the one side and housing to the other. And it was on the housing side that I saw this. And all of a sudden I see these lights in the sky, and at first I'm like, okay, street lights? No, they're too high in the sky. There's no way. It's like they're following me as I'm driving down the road, right? This is fucked up. What, and I'm watching them as I'm keeping an eye on the road. This is fucked up. This is crazy. And then I said, okay, yeah, I got to pull over and record these if I could. And it just, yeah, I couldn't get a good sort of recording, if you will. Like, I've shown it a few times here on the show, and
yeah, but that's with an old cell phone camera, right?
Yeah, you can't make it out. I mean, you could see the lights, but not as well as how Dinkum's video. You could see them really good.
Yeah,
you could see it really good. Unfortunately, I couldn't get that. Right. So, but we've sort of dove into it a few times here on the show, looked into it a little bit more extensively, and found out that this is, it's a worldwide sort of phenomenon, but it's very active over the Lake Ontario area.
That's
very active. So, I mean, what do you think, Alex? I mean, what do you think these are? I mean, what do you think? Like,
that's the $1 million question.
It's a loaded question.
I really don't know what to say. I mean, I don't think it's attributable to a weather phenomenon, for example. I know some people would like to think it's that, but
no, I don't think
Chinese lanterns out of the question for me, at least the ones I saw, just because of the way they behaved.
Same with me.
Are they actual UFOs? It's hard to say.
They're not flares.
No, they're not.
They're
They're
absolutely no flares. I mean,
flares eventually come down and they fizzle out. These didn't. The ones I saw were coming from east to west and then veered north and kept going.
Yeah.
Flares don't do that, right? They just don't. So either it's some kind of, I hate to say secret sort of like government training, whatever you want to call it. But
but all across the world, though?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
this is why I hesitate to say that, because
are these governments colluding with each other on secret technology?
I can't see that happening. I can't see all the governments of the world agreeing to do stuff like this on a regular basis. I just can't. I don't know what it is. I really don't. It's a phenomenon for sure, but what it actually is, I have no idea.
I think Steve has sort of intrigued me now. That maybe when I have some time to do a little bit of sky watching above Lake Ontario, and maybe I might be able to get some good footage of some of these things.
You got to go to a spot where there's not a lot of light pollution, though. And I'm sure you're further west from where I live. You're not as close to the Toronto and Brampton, Mississauga area, so you probably have an easier time finding a spot where you don't have as much light pollution.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you can get to that spot, you probably have a lot better chance of catching stuff in the sky than you would.
Well, there was one night. I think it was January or February. Yeah, probably January, February. Hey, Ducks, how are you? It was probably, January, February. I remember going out. I was outside doing something in front of the house, and this was nighttime. And I saw some light anomalies again. Mm-hmm. And I did take some photos, but again, the photos weren't the best because of the lighting. Things are too lit here. The street lights.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get a good shot. So yeah, it's kind of weird, man.
It is weird. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I know I have the ability to go just like I could drive like maybe 15, 20 minutes north of here, and I could be in a spot where you could see all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's very little light pollution up there.
Mhm.
Problem is, right now it's a bit too cold to go hang around in my car in that spot.
Yeah, it's
You
getting
know?
cold. It's getting cold,
Yeah,
man.
exactly. But
think
I was there one night. In this spot at nighttime when it was like still, I think it was early fall. I think it was still warm, very warm, and it's just the amount of stars you could see because of the lack of light pollution
Mhm.
was just astonishing. You know what I mean? I think I don't see that very often because of, I've lived in Toronto for God knows how many years, and now I live outside of that city, but still very close to it. So
Yeah.
you still get all that light pollution, right? But yeah, it's amazing what you could see if you just go a little bit further north.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I did at one point. I grabbed a special X-ray lens for my Sony Handycam.
Yeah, I heard about those lenses.
Oh fuck yeah, man! It's amazing what they're able to capture.
Sure.
But yeah. Hold on, let's see. Steve's phone just died.
That's what I figured.
Yeah. Just messaging him back. Hold on.
It's all the extra buzzing. Killed it quicker.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it just well, I want to thank Steve for coming on. I'm sure we'll have Steve back on. Maybe we might have to do a UFO dark discussions.
Sure.
Bring on maybe Matt and Steve, and maybe our good friend Fred from Sweden.
Oh, there you go.
Fred's always Fred's you hear that, Matt? We got to do a UFO dark discussion, so I'm sure we'd love to have you on as well. So
that's a dark discussion, not a wet dream, by the way.
Exactly. But and Budacrest, I'm going to take a look at your video and look at it, and I'm sure Matt, you sent it to Matt. Matt'll have a look at it too and sort of correct it and see. We'll take a look. We'll take a look at it, and I have your email, and I will send you back with what I come up with when analyzing it and correcting it and stuff like that. I'll send you what I got back to you. Intriguing. What it is, I don't know, but it's definitely some sort of structure. But what it is, who knows? But thank you for sharing that, and Dinkum, thank you for sharing your orb, your orange orb video. That's cool. I did see it, and I forgot about it. But thank you for sharing that as well. Yeah, I think that's about it for this evening.
Yeah.
Again, I'm getting the archives out to Ray, and I'm sure Ray will be rebroadcasting tonight's show on the New Visions Radio Network throughout the week. So, yes, thank you again, Steve. Pleasure having you on. Look forward to having you back. And again, we gotta do a UFO roundtable, dark discussions, whatever. I think that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, we got to do it very soon. So, Matt, yeah, keep your
schedule open.
Your schedule open. I'll be contacting you to see. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, or well, not tuning in, but watching this evening. Shout out to Matt, the Secret Vault, Budacrest, Dinkum, Jeremy. Good to see you, buddy. Sue, Andrew, 5,000ish. B, always great to see you. Who else? I don't want to forget everyone or anybody. But Sab was in there earlier, and
Fari.
of course, yeah, Tracy and Urban
Mexico
Legend,
Quack.
Urban, yeah, Ducks, Urban Legends UK was in there earlier.
Everybody who
Yes.
joined us tonight.
Cal,
How about that?
everybody, and Liam, Safari, everybody. Anyways, we'll see you next Sunday. Yeah, we'll see you next Sunday night, 9 p.m.
Good night,
Eastern
everyone.
Standard Time. Take care and be well, everyone. Here in Canada, it's a long weekend. Happy Family Day.
Happy Family Day.
All right, guys, take care. And
Good
then
night.
once again, good night. Take care. Later.